Stories of War. World War III. Based on the song lyrics and poems of John Eaton. Here is Stand Your Ground. When the war began, few believed it could happen again. Not in Europe. Not after everything. But history, it seemed, had a long memory and a short temper. The man who lit the match rose in the east. He had grown up surrounded by silence, raised on half-truths and vengeance. His mother had whispered stories of empires lost. His father, absent. His homeland, proud but bitter. He was a man shaped by loss, and like many before him, he mistook revenge for destiny. First, it was just rhetoric. Then came the peacekeeping missions. And soon, the borders began to shift. Nations disappeared overnight, swallowed whole. The world blinked. Then watched. Then trembled. But Europe, though fractured, frayed, and flawed, remembered. She remembered tanks rolling through Poland in 1939. She remembered families torn in Berlin. She remembered Sarajevo, Srebrenica, the Iron Curtain, the ash of dreams. And so this time, Europe stood. In Paris, diplomats who once disagreed on everything signed declarations of unity overnight. In Warsaw, people lined the streets not to flee, but to defend. In Estonia, hackers waged a silent war from basements, crippling enemy servers. In Madrid, students marched with cardboard shields, quoting poetry from the Civil War. In Stockholm, retired engineers rebuilt Cold War bunkers, brick by brick. And in London, for the first time in years, Parliament roared with one voice. Old rivalries were shelved. Differences paused. Flags flew side by side. Every village, every city became a front. Not of bombs, though there were many, but of resolve. Even when the tyrant struck deep, even when cities burned, Europe did not shatter. There were heroes, though most were never named. The Ukrainian medic who drove wounded children across minefields in an ambulance held together with duct tape. The German journalist who stayed behind in a captured town to smuggle out footage. The Finnish grandmother who cooked soup for a dozen soldiers every night despite no running water. The Serbian mechanic who rebuilt drones from scrap. The Polish truck driver who made 20 border crossings to deliver fuel and didn't tell his family until it was over. They didn't call themselves heroes. They simply said, never again. The tyrant grew desperate. His armies thinned. His speeches turned hollow. He screamed into microphones about traitors, conspiracies, lost causes. His people began to see through the fog of lies. Some turned against him. Others simply stopped listening. And when he fell, because all tyrants fall, it was not to a bullet or a bomb, but to the weight of unity he could never understand. Europe did not celebrate with vengeance. She mourned, quietly. Then, she began to rebuild, again. Years passed. Cities healed. Borders settled. Statues rose. Not of generals. Not of politicians. But of ordinary people. Holding hands.